a place in Sunday's final at stake in our first semi-final as those old adversaries meet from West Africa, Nigeria and Ghana. Hello and welcome to the Friendship Stadium here in Senegal. These sides met incidentally in the qualification group. Ghana winning 1-0 on home soil and 0-0 in Nigeria. So certainly a psychological advantage we feel to the Ghana side as both sides out on the pitch prepare for the kickoff. And don't forget that second semi-final coming up later on today as well for you. That will be the Cameroon against Ivory Coast. But this really is the one that matters now, the showdown that sees Ghana pitted against Nigeria. It should be something special. Alongside us in the commentary positions to take you through the match, David Pleat. But first, with all that team news, we hear from John Hill.
Thank you very much indeed, Phil, and something special it certainly should be. And here is the Nigeria lineup, and as you can see, back in at number 2 is Ruben Agbula, the one player from the English Football League to be playing in the African Nations Cup. The Swansea City man has been brought back into the side to wear the number 2 jersey, having been left out of the quarter-final match against Congo. And Sia wears 9, Yakini wears 8, and they, without question, are 2 of the paciest strikers in this entire competition. Watch out for them. Nigeria will be Pele, the man from Olympique Marseille, who to my mind has been one of the stars of the tournament. No question about that. Ghana began with a victory over Zambia by 1-0. They then beat Egypt by the same score, and Congo were defeated by 2-1. And Nigeria have got to this stage by defeating Senegal, the home nation, 2-1 in the opening match. Kenya also by 2-1, and Zaire by 1-0. So the African Nations Cup being brought to you live here on Screen Sport. And the first of the 2 semi-finals, remember, later this evening, Cameroon play the Ivory Coast. The right to go through to the 18th final. David Pleat is alongside me. David, you've seen both these sides very, very capable of playing open, attractive football and creating chances.
Good players. Everything to play for, of course, today. The stakes are high. I'm sure the players are going to enjoy the theatre and really express themselves.
Absolutely right, and it is a theatre. The final is the one stage that every player wants to appear in, whether it's in an English Cup final, an African final, a World Cup final, or a European final. They all want to be there, so you can expect an adventurous approach, we hope, in this game. Michel Platini, the French coach, manager, is on hand. And I'm sure he's been very interested by the performances of a number of these players out here today. Of course, many of them do play in domestic football, like Pele, Marseille, and in fact, the Nigerian side, if you look down it, it's an extraordinary mixture. They've got players from 8 European countries represented in this match.
Yes, a couple playing in Denmark there, obviously France, Germany. A real mix. But of course, it's how they play together as a group that is going to be important today. At least they have a good pitch, they have a good atmosphere, they have no excuses.
60,000 capacity here, and it is a good pitch. We saw in some of the earlier stages rather disappointing surfaces, but not this one. And the expectation level has risen and risen as the tournament has gone on, and this will be a free kick, I would have thought, for Ghana. No, the referee, Monsieur Jouini from Tunisia, deciding that that was okay, but the ball won back for Ghana. Remember, they have won this competition more times than any other nation in Africa. They won it in 1963, 1965, and then again in 1978, and the last time in 1982. So maybe they've got a 10-year itch. It's like Tottenham Hotspur back in England. Nigeria were the winners once, only in 1980, but they've been the runners-up on 3 occasions, including the last time in Algeria back in 1990. So they want to put the record straight, especially Stephen Keshi, their captain and number 4, who has been on the losing side in 3 finals. He won't want to be in a losing final team again.
No, he looks a talented player. He played well in the game against Senegal. And look out in the Ghana side for a tall, very strong defender, Bafo. He's been a tower of strength so far. Very important man, sweeping up behind everyone. Mountainous figure in the air.
Yes, Bafo playing his club football now with Fortuna Düsseldorf, not the strongest of the German sides. He has played with Cologne in the past. He was actually born in Germany, son of a Ghanaian diplomat, and he has been one of the outstanding defenders of this tournament without question. Ghana, remember, in the all-yellow strip. The Nigerians known as the Super Eagles, so it's the Super Eagles against the Black Stars. And I wouldn't like to say who's going to come out on top. Nigeria, a lot of pace up front, as they showed in their opening match, with Sia and Yakini, two very pacey strikers who work well together. And Ghana with the superb talents of people like Pele, and of course Naelamte.
Yes, he's a boy that's gone on to Belgium, played in the youth team, very fine youth team. Everyone wonders sometimes they've got such power and physique, where the documentation is on the birth certificates. But Lamley is a strong player too. And it's strange that Abibi Pele is wearing the 10 shirt, the shirt made famous by so many great players over the years. Maradona, Cruyff.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing sometimes, that, David, isn't it? I've noticed when the team lists were first issued, Pele was down as a number 9, and I thought that doesn't look right. And then, of course, when he turned out for the first time, he wore 10, and he's continued to wear that jersey throughout the tournament. We have the Nigerian replacement, should they be required. Most of them have played at some stage in this competition. Friday Ekpo, Friday Ilaho. Maybe 2 Fridays fall on a Thursday. We could have that one today. Here's the whistle sounding for a free kick against Nigeria. And indeed, the Ghanaians too have run the changes, and that is something that the coaches have to think about, isn't it? Constantly during a tournament to keep players involved and keep them match fit.
Yes, I think it's a tactical battle in the early games, isn't it, to win the group, to get through. But then I think this game is, semi-final is so important, and this side will be the best side in his opinion that he can possibly put out. The psychological advantage of getting through to the final, the accolades that go with that are so big that this is his best side today that is available.
Question with 2 of the fancied sides meeting here. I think most people fancied Ghana and Nigeria to get through to the last 4. The big surprises early on were the departures of Algeria, Morocco and Egypt at the very first phase. Otherwise it's gone reasonably well according to plan. Ivory Coast perhaps the surprise team, and they will be taking on Cameroon later. So it's a real feast of football for the fans of Dakar today. The referee will be strong early on, I imagine, in this game. Let the players know that he stands no nonsense. But I would have thought overall in this competition, the standard of behaviour has been pretty good.
That's right. I mean, we have had a sending off, but generally speaking, the players have conducted themselves quite well. They're under the critical gaze of the top FIFA officials. Avalanche has been here, so is Blatter. And it's very important that they conduct the tournament properly.
Certainly is. Here's a ball in which created a, say, untidy clearance, a tricky clearance. All wanting to have the ball, all willing to play good football. They love to stroke the ball around a different tempo. David, I know you saw a game in England last night, a typical English FA Cup tie. It's a very different type of football that's being played altogether. Well,
it's slower, it is more composed. They tend to play to feet more. That's something to do with the conditions, of course. It's hard for front players to run all day, running beyond defenders. And of course they play with a greater depth here, so there's more space in between the 2 back 4s. So you'll see most of the football being played into strikers' feet. And there we saw a perfect example when the ball was played up to Lamptey. Gurvan, the defender, came right in behind him and gave away that free kick.
So we're underway in the first semi-final in Dakar, but there are no goals between Nigeria and Ghana. The game really hasn't settled down yet. It's a softening up process in the early moments, one imagines. Considerable difference in the population when you think of it. Nigeria, the most populated of all African countries, 115 million. Ghana are near 15 million at the side of that, but in a footballing sense, they're equals.
Well, I think we see that in the South American game, don't we, where Uruguay continually do well with comparatively small populations to the other South American countries. It's a religion, and we know in Nigeria it's treated very, very, very seriously.
Referee firm, demonstrative, having very sharp words indeed with Ali Ibrahim. His foot was very, very high there, no question, on Finidi. Finidi, one of those who's been brought in for this match, having been on the substitutes bench previously, and that's not the best of strikes, and it will not have impressed Michel Platini.
No, I think he wanted slightly less elevation on that one. He wanted to whip it into the crowd there and hope for a knockdown. But talking about it being a religion, John, and treating it seriously, like the New Zealand Maoris, the rugby team, when they go into a huddle before the game and with the war cry, I believe the Nigerians actually recite the Lord's Prayer before a game. So they certainly do treat it seriously.
They do. Football really has come on in leaps and bounds since it was first introduced around about the 50s, I suppose, in Nigeria and indeed in Ghana. To say that they've not been competing at a world level for that long compared to many other countries, they've advanced very quickly, and people who should know, people in the know, have said that by the year 2000 the Africans would be very strong indeed in world football. Now a chance of a break to get in behind the back four, and the shot came in from Yeboah straight against the back of the defender. Clearance will be effected by Azugo. They are athletes, these fellows, and this chap in particular he's done well here to cut the ball back. That was Sia, the man who scored the Nigerian goal in the very first game of the competition against Senegal.
He looked particularly quick, didn't he, going for that ball there. The pace is frightening at times. They are very quick players.
Yes, I think both Sia and his partner up front, Yakini, that's what they rely on, pace. That was an unfortunate stumble, and they might still have chances here. He delays, and the cross, and there were three of them there for it, and the ball trickles into the net, and it's Nigeria who get the early score. Nigeria in front then with the goal by Adepoju. And what a start for Nigeria, and disappointing for the Ghanaian goalkeeper Ansar. Adepoju scoring his first goal of this tournament, brought into the side, and the header was too good for the keeper.
It was a lovely flighted ball, wasn't it? It really stood it up there, and in the end it was almost a 3 against 1 situation. And Adepoju just got in front there, and it was one of those nasty balls that trickles just inside the post. The goalkeeper possibly with one eye on colliding with the post, but he didn't do too well. He didn't move his feet across quick enough, and poor old Ansar has conceded a vital goal. And what a good time for Nigeria. Now we'll see.
Yeah, it is 1-0. We've said so often in these matches what an early goal might do, and now we'll see exactly the proof of the pudding. Well, what a moment for young Mutiu Adepoju. His coach decided that now was the time to fling him in. Clemens Westerhoef, the Dutchman who is in charge of the Nigerian side, and a masterstroke bringing him in, obviously good in the air, although I'm sure that Ansar will be bitterly disappointed every time he sees that replay.
Yes, he was right on his line, wasn't he? No, there was no narrowing, and he could have gone for the cross, to be fair. It was a beautifully flighted chip, but there'd be a question mark about the covering players there. They were caught short.
Yes, we've commented before about the strength of Bako, central defender, but he was nowhere to be seen at that moment. A fellow of 6'6", you'd have expected him to be in there. Nonetheless, it's Nigeria who have the lead. Black Stars behind.
Very tight, close marking, even in the midfield area, is something I've noticed straight away, John. In the earlier games, they conceded the midfield. Whoever had the ball, they said, after you, Claude, come on, get through us. And then when possession changed hands, it was the same tactic or the same philosophy, the same approach. Now we're seeing one or two balls played into the middle areas and there's a fierce competition.
Absolutely. This is where you'd be looking for the likes of Pele to show his prowess. He's done very well in the previous matches. Otto Pfister's got a problem now. But Pele has looked one of the stars of the tournament so far. He scored the winning goal in the quarter-final match against Congo. He scored a cracker of a goal as well against Zambia. The Nigerians playing in the finals for the 9th time in their history. People have come from all over the world. Somebody who's out there watching all these matches is John Salako, the Crystal Palace player, who of course born in Nigeria but has opted to play for England and has already done so on last summer's tour of Australasia. He's out there watching.
There's a few British journalists gone out there to get a feel of the tournament and to get an idea of the different tactics and certainly the different philosophies employed.
Already a booking, and that is for Abora, Stanley Abora, who came in for the last game, and that was a bit of a signing challenge. That shows just how pent up these players are. So Stanley Abora is the first player cautioned by referee Jouini, and it's a free kick for Nigeria. And it's not a bad one because it's hoisted in and acrobatically cleared. That's what they're very good at. That was Appiah who got it away. Another dash on Yeboah. He's brought down from behind, a rather cynical challenge after he'd knocked the ball by, and that will be 2 bookings within a minute. So he holds his head, does Babaladi, and that in fact is the second time Babaladi has been booked in this tournament. He was booked in the opening game as well, and that was a bad challenge.
I don't think Babaladi will expect any other treatment than a yellow card for that. It was a rather vicious scything tackle from behind, but watch the pace of the forwards. Once they get a yard on you, it's going to be difficult to catch them.
So each side has had one player cautioned in this opening quarter. The most important statistic is that Nigeria have got a goal through Adepoju. Very warm down there. Nice conditions for watching football though. Bodies around nicely. Bit scramble in the midfield, and the danger is that when Nigeria break, they break so quickly, and that's a terrific run. He could score, he could make it 2. Chose to turn it back, the chance still there. It came at an awkward angle. Goalkeeper Ansah off the line. And now there will be a free kick for Nigeria on the edge of the penalty area as well.
That really was a magnificent break. When you see that goal attempt again, which I'm sure the producer will give us in a minute, watch the pace of the players as they swarmed forward to support. There was 1, 2, and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, 4 green-shirted players appeared in the box. They were determined then to try and get the goal. The way to get a goal is to outnumber your opposition as soon as possible, and they certainly went there with some intent.
Yes, I think it was Sia David who broke, and we've talked about him and Yekini and their pace. It was argued whether he might try the shot himself. He decided to cut the ball back, and it didn't work out, but it could have been 2-0. And they still have a free kick here because Olaiha was the player brought down. And struck the wall and went behind, but again goalkeeper Ansah didn't look too certain about that. There we have the break again, and what a lovely ball. It was a beautifully weighted pass. They were trying to tug him back, and in fact it was Number 7, I think, Finidi, who made that break.
6 players in the box as that move faded out.
Ghana in a little bit of trouble when the Nigerians break like that, showing the pace.
I'm sure Ruben Agbula will be on the telephone to Frank Burrows, that most likeable manager of Swansea City, with a few names for his little black book. They look quite strong to me, the Nigerians. They look full of pace. I think we're going to see a good game here.
Actually, Swansea City are one of those clubs who've not been afraid to bring foreign talent into England. Remember they signed a couple of Yugoslavians, didn't they, a few years ago? Handziapic. Here comes Nigeria again through the middle. The Ghanaians really have got to get themselves back into this game because Nigeria are carrying it to them at the moment. It's a bit of a struggle for Ghana. They've got a free kick of their own down this left side. Maybe a physical challenge once again.
I think Azububu was determined that whatever happened, he wasn't going to get Ali Ibrahim up first. 2 good wrestlers.
2 very good wrestlers. Free kick is for Ghana. It's not a little bit too long. Well read. Cleared by Finidi. When they come on the counter, Nigeria, they look a little bit fearsome. That's another shove in the back. Ele, delightful little back heel. That was talent. That was delightful to see. This is a good break forward. Oh, what a little chip as well, and it didn't quite produce the finish required, but some delightful football in there, first of all from Pele, and then from that man as he came charging forward to supplement the attack, and that will have pleased the trainer rather more.
Yeah, it was a tremendous run, wasn't it? Look at the athleticism of Gyamfi as he ran back, his recovery run. The move's broken down, okay, it's finished. Get back and let's defend now. He's striding back. Beautiful runner.
He looks like 2 sets of lungs, doesn't he? It's got all the makings of being a really excellent semi-final list. With Nigeria holding the aces at the moment, they're a goal in front.
Both sides are pushing into the midfield much quicker than in previous games and trying to mark closer. There's 1 or 2 individual battles on the field. There you see in the left of the picture. Pele, absolutely, shirt tight, green Nigerian defender. We'll have a look at that again in a minute.
Another move from his side. Forward goes Ali Ibrahim. Who plays it Germany once again, the well-timed pass, the running off the ball, exemplary, nice little ball through as well from Finidi. Sia, and a free kick given. But Sia plays for Lokeren in Belgium, and he's played over 100 games for them, so they know all about him in that country. And his partner up front, Yakini, plays for Vitória Setúbal in Portugal.
There's 3 or 4 of the players in Belgium, Lokeren and Courtrai. And it wouldn't surprise me the Belgian agents who were over here in this tournament in force and were in the previous African Nations Cup. They'll be for sure transporting 1 or 2 of these gentlemen into the more European background of Belgium. I'm sure we'll be seeing 1 or 2 of them there in the 2nd division, possibly in the 1st.
Yes, no doubt about that. Stephen Keshi, of course, had just moved to Racing Strasbourg after a number of years with Anderlecht. And he is regarded as the rock of this Nigerian side. There he is now. Your picture, just allowing the ball to run through to goalkeeper Agu. Keshi, the man we referred to at the opening, as having played in 3 finals and having lost a lot of them. Well, at the moment, his side are in front and heading for another final maybe. certainly it's nice to see them playing in such good conditions as Anthony Yeboah, the striker from Germany, from Eintracht Frankfurt, makes tracks and wins a corner for Ghana. I think this is their first. Yeboah, who's got 2 goals already, scored a winner against Egypt and then scored against Congo as well. Hassan, corner kick for Ghana. Hassan has been on the substitutes bench and the header, well, they got in there, lobbing over the top of the crossbar.
It was a good driven ball by Asari to the edge of the box, but notice after the header is taken, all the Nigerian defence on block, push out, and there alone inside the 6-yard box is Gyamfi in an offside position, not spotted, goal kick.
1-0 it is, Nigeria in front. A goal by Adepoju. Well, he was rather languid about that. Unhurried totally. Ali Ibrahim now gets over the first line of defence, swings a shot in. Nice try. Got a good left foot, not afraid to have a go.
Talented piece of play. And the crowd warm to that, don't they? They like to see a dribble. They like to see that little bit of subtlety. I felt early on in the games, players were looking for glory. Maybe they were looking to satisfy their coaches that they could dribble and play as individuals. But as we know, to win a tournament, you've got to be a team player and a team. Look at that, fine skill. Not such a bad effort either.
Did everything actually, controlled it in one, chipped over the top, then we saw the chest, and then the header, and then we saw him shooting as well.
Good timing, sign of a nice relaxed player.
From the back they start again with Gyamfi. He's been involved in this game quite a lot. He came on as a substitute in the last match. Wins his place in the starting lineup.
There's that lovely wrestling that we saw earlier on, John. It just shows you how tight they're marking each other. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to find space there. They've got the big sweeper at the back, Nigeria, and everyone else. You can see the picture there quite clearly. There's an example. Everyone man-marked all around the field. It's tight, it's tough.
Well, they had 2 men on him there. Well, once again, Nigeria coming with this break and going on the outside. And he's got the shot in yet again as Sia. And credit to goalkeeper Ansar that time. He did manage to spread himself quite well. But this is good attacking play.
Look at that surge. Ooh, that's tremendous power. He's caught his left foot. I thought the goalkeeper there took a bit of a liberty trying to come and make the block because either side of him and he's dead, and he was still under challenge by the defender, but the goalkeeper decided to come and commit himself. Could have been in trouble there.
Good effort indeed. Both Yakini and Sia are giving this crowd plenty to enjoy. If it was the bigger crowd in the stadium. The Stade de l'Amitié in the coastal city of Dakar, known as the Crossroads of Africa. Built actually by the Chinese, this stadium. It cost £12 million and was opened 7 years ago. Nice facilities. They have some very good facilities in many of the African countries. Nice throw. Trail by a goal to 0. Right to meet either Cameroon or Ivory Coast in the 18th African Nations Cup final. Well cut out this time by Bafo. They're looking to release Pele maybe. He bowled him over this time. And that will be a free kick for the Nigerians. Stays down rather dramatically for the strength of the challenge. Nonetheless, it didn't please the referee. Nigeria have taken their free kick. They're very adept at slowing things down when they want to do.
The Ghanaians also look as though they've got a slight physical advantage. They're a very tall side, a very strong side. Sometimes difficult to compare. They've already won a goal by their heading power in the box. And looking at the players, they just seem a little bit stronger. But that's an early observation, and we'll have to wait to see how they develop through the 90 minutes.
Sia wins another free kick for Nigeria. That old hearty shove in the back.
He's causing them problems with his surge, there's no question about that.
They're winning some admiring glances.
I think I was reading somewhere, John, where all the Zambian wives are with them. It's the only side that have brought their families with them. Whether the Ghanaians have, I'm not quite so sure.
Ghana and Nigeria having come through to this stage. In the early rounds, the qualifying rounds, Ghana actually met Nigeria and beat them by a goal to nil, and then drew 0-0 in the return game in Nigeria, Lagos. But generally they both had comfortable passages really. Ghana defeating also Togo twice, Burkina Faso once, they lost to them in one game, and Benin. Nigeria in the very same group and with pretty similar results really, except that they did thrash Burkina Faso by 7 goals to 1, with our friend Yakini scoring 4 of them.
Our researcher just advises me that it's actually the Ghanaians who have got their wives with them at this tournament, and they are the only side in the tournament to bring the wives. So that's a nice little trip for them, and it'll be even better if they can celebrate by winning the tournament.
Now, I remember back in 1978 when the Dutch astonished everybody by having their wives out in Argentina for the World Cup finals, and they didn't do badly. They got to the final before they lost to Argentina. And I remember they were even with them the night before the final, so the Dutch have always had a slightly different philosophy to other countries.
But the same criteria stands, John. It would be a good team first.
They were a good side, mind you. So it's Nigeria 1, Ghana 0. A goal by Mutiu Adepoju. Quarter of an hour left in the first half. It's going Nigeria's way for the moment, but with an hour to go, it would be a foolhardy man who would predict the outcome of this game. They do like the overhead kick. Keshi. So even the front runners get back to involve themselves in the play. They don't just hang around waiting up there for the ball to come, they get involved.
And they don't expend any wasted energy chasing the ball when Ghana have the ball defensively. When they have clear possession, they allow them to have possession. Unlike many English clubs, they don't harass for early possession, they don't hassle the defenders, they allow them to have it, and they make sure they're back and they mark and they fill in all the holes, and there's no spaces to be created.
Pensive and fascinating.
Make a point about the crowd, John, you know, but if you have these World Championships, which they are for the Africans, on television, then you can't expect the poor country to spend money to come and watch live. They're quite happy to be watching it, and they must have a massive audience all around Africa at this moment watching these footballers on the television.
Sure, that's absolutely right. We know little of some of those countries, but the interest is keen, whether it's in Chad or Senegal or Benin or Burkina Faso. They all love their football, and they're all hoping to make an impact on the world footballing map. Because now, for example, Ghana have said it's not a question of us winning this competition, it's a question of when we've won it, when do we qualify for the World Cup. That's their goal, really.
I saw a fascinating article about the coaches, the African coaches, who are saying that given the chance they can do equally as well as the Europeans. They've had Yugoslavs in this part of the world, they've obviously had Dutch coaches, but they want the same chance to show that they can coach players to a high level of international competition. And it's really fascinating. Watching these tournaments today will be young lads who want to emulate and imitate these players, and who knows, become great players themselves in the future.
Ali Ibrahim, you saw there, rolling around down on the touchline, out of it for the moment. So Ghana down to 10 men with Ali Ibrahim off. Who plays his club football in the German city of Bochum. Tight over on that touchline, and a free kick awarded against Samson Sia. He lives up to his name, Samson, as well. He is a strong man.
Yeah, he is strong, and so is Aliyah, the number 12 up there. They look very powerful up the front. I think given enough room, they would cause all sorts of problems.
Pele. Delightful play once more by Pele. Master with the ball, but that's not across the front to match it. Disappointing ball in after Pele had done so well. And Ali Ibrahim looks to me as though he's saying, I can take no further part in this match. So that's a blow, because as we saw a few minutes ago, one lovely piece of improvisation. He's a key player for Ghana. And the coach, Otto Pfister, is just consoling him. And they might have to make a switch. Dutch trainer Clemens Westerhoef, who's been in charge since 1989. Not giving much away there, was he really? Inside, he'll be rather happy. He knows there's a long way to go in this. Almost playing themselves into trouble, and sometimes they tend to play almost too much football. So Ruben Agbula is the one in the end to turn it back towards his goalkeeper, Yagu. And indeed, yes, there will be no way back for Ali Ibrahim, and Prince Polly will take his place. Good ball in again, and this is that was a good dangerous move, and getting in on the end of it was that man Sia once more. Easy to see how he scores goals.
Yeah, here we see slightly naive defending there. They could have let him run, particularly the marking player there. Once it was over Bapo's head, then if he would have continued his run, he was clearly offside, but the fullback went in all the way with him and played him onside, and he just wasn't able to manoeuvre his body to get any direction with the header.
So Prince Polly is on at 15, place of Ibrahim. Well, this is a chance for Ghana now, edge of the Nigerian penalty area, strong shot as well, and a fine stop by goalkeeper Agu from Yeboah. Well, Yeboah has got 9 goals this season in German football for Eintracht Frankfurt. He's got 2 in this African Nations Cup, but he couldn't beat Agu.
That was an excellent piece of play, a lovely little takeover that put Yeboah in the clear there. Good acceleration from him, fine shot and a well-handled save.
Talking of acceleration, here come Nigeria again with not a bad cross in, though it was just taken away from his own man. A second shot barged down by Bafo, and eventually they emerge. But Ghana under a lot of pressure whenever Nigeria break like that. Start from the back with Keshi this time. He again plays a good ball wide to Finidi. Good movement. Oh, excellent play once more. What a solo dribble this is to the edge of the penalty area. And Finidi had gone through. Bafo is the one who gets the lecture from referee Jouini. Lovely movement again. And the final dribble was put in by Egwavoin. Much doubt about it being a foul, and he'd gone a long way.
They've got some real power approaching the box. I would make them clear favourites at this stage to win this game. A lot can happen. We shouldn't be in the position of predicting, but I'm impressed with Nigeria. When they get the ball wide, they look to get it in the box early. They're strong in the air, and certainly when they get a chance to run at people, they have got that pace. Here's an example.
This is Egwavoin. He's gone a long way, and he's getting past 1, he's got past 2, and then Bafo brings him down as though he was at a Grand National fence. Good football all along the line there from Keshi at the back, through the midfield with Finidi.
Now this is a good position, and notice how Ghana put Bafo, the tallest man, on the end of the wall. If there is going to be a swerve or a curl towards the top corner, the tallest man on the end of the wall is often the most advantageous position.
Good point made by David Fleet, the manager of Luton Town, and one's tucked in alongside Papo now. But nonetheless, the two free men here are Keshi and Yakini. Keshi looks as though he'll run up first, captain. He's scored once already in this tournament. He's on the left, Yakini on the right. Might even welcome a deflection here, and it's a disappointing shot. Very disappointing, really.
I think Best the Hook is saying there, what about that free kick we worked this morning? And of course, players being players, that was 2 hours ago and they've forgotten.
Yeah, they've got short memories, haven't they, David? 90 minutes is too long for some.
There certainly was no creativity about that one, and I was hoping they might work something to defeat the wall, but he obviously went for a foul shot. Maybe we'll get an opportunity later in the game to put egg on our face.
There's haven't been many good free kicks in the tournament, which was a very disappointing in the last World Cup as well. You usually look for things that are innovative at World Cups and African nations cups, but there was nothing in the last World Cup of that nature. I can't remember a good free kick. Nigeria once more coming to the edge of the area. Bako's there this time. He counted before. He's about 6'6", so he should get everything in the air. Offside on that occasion, it didn't matter. But it's Nigeria leading by a goal to nil, scored in the 12th minute by Adepoju. His first appearance in the finals. Easily laid back, this time for Agu.
Ghana a bit unlucky there not to receive a free kick. I think someone agrees with me.
Yes, he is demonstrative. To Pfister, the German coach. He was the one, of course, who led the under-17s to triumph in the World Youth Cup final. So he became very popular in Ghana at that stage. Once more the free kick given. It was against Apia. Pele being spoken to as well. And yellow card for Pele, I think. It is. I thought it was Apia who'd made the original challenge, but maybe it was Pele, maybe he said something as well. Free kick given. Here it is. It's Apia, so Pele must have said something to the referee.
It was a bad challenge, wasn't it? He got round the defender and all of a sudden that horrible long leg comes out and hauls you to the ground. It's not nice.
The irony is he got away with it, and the player who said something got booked.
That's always the way, John. You're better off take your punishment, walk away. Now he's under pressure, Pele. Wouldn't that be a tragedy if he was able to get in a position of being in trouble again, and the second yellow card is a red card offence in as much as he's off the field, and they can't afford to lose their best player, so in the first place it would be better to be quiet.
Absolutely. If they got through to the final and missed him, that would be stupidity. Nigeria on the attack, leading by 1-0. Rather soft header in many ways when you look back at it. Scored by Adepoju, but a goal that will be put down, I think, to frailty in the centre of defence, and not the best goalkeeping we've seen in the competition either on behalf of Ansa. 1-0 it is. Adepoju didn't stop to worry about things like that. He really put the header into the net. Will Nigeria, when they thrust forward, just look to have that little extra pace and invention. Sia in particular there, who's looked menacing every time he's been anywhere near the ball. Makes some good runs off the ball too. This one easily cut out. But now there will be a free kick for Ghana. A bit of a back of it. This time it's Pele who gets the free kick as opposed to gets the yellow card. And we'll see whether Ghana have worked and can remember their routine in training. 35 yards out, maybe 30 to 35 yards. Hello, Agu. That was taken quickly, and what a disappointing ending to it. Might just have taken a deflection, certainly in the opinion of Ampia. It did. So it will be a corner for Ghana. Just a slight breeze, you can always judge that by the linesman's flag and the corner flag. So goalkeeper Alo Agu hasn't really been put under a great deal of pressure in this match. Jabbar got in one very good effort, but that's about all. We're not far away from a half-time whistle. The ball is again put out of play and behind for a second Ghana corner in succession. Every hand to the pump at the moment for Nigeria back there. They've led for most of this half, but here's the header coming in, and the equaliser for Ghana. And again, disappointing goalkeeping perhaps, but Ghana have got their equaliser. So it's 1-1 from Prince Polly, the substitute. Of all people to come on and score, the header there didn't really look as though it was going to be strong enough to beat the goalkeeper from that angle and that position, but it flies into the corner of the net, and Prince Polly has brought Ghana level at 1-1 minutes before half-time. And a royal goal from Prince Polly.
Well, a fast outswinger. He got to the ball first, he twisted his head and he stretched his neck muscles, and Nigeria will rue the old adage, 2 men on the line in case the goalkeeper comes for anything. Make sure you've got security. There was only Agula there on the line, tucked away at the near post, no one on the back post, and as that header looped over, it's put the game really in the melting pot, and what a tremendous second half we could be in for now. I'm delighted really for Ghana. I thought that in the first period they were tidy into feet, not too penetrative, and that the Nigerians were stronger and slightly quicker, and certainly the more threatening. But fine, lovely, delicately poised for a second period.
It could hardly have come at a better time really, a minute before the break. Remember, Nigeria scored after 12 minutes and we wondered then how that would affect the game. Well, they carried the fight to Ghana really, but then with the Ghanaians coming back and getting this equaliser, that looks to me like a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, however. But 1-1 it is, with Prince Polly Apoku to give him his full title, the player from Ekeren in Belgium, getting that equaliser, having come on as a substitute for Ali Ibrahim. Isn't fate a funny thing? He probably wouldn't have got on but for the injury. And he's the one who scores. But now Nigeria, having been pegged back, have a free kick themselves. We're past the 45-minute mark. They have this free kick. A 3-man wall formed. Can they regain the lead this time? And goalkeeper Ansah capable of holding that one. But it's, as you say, David, it's really set us up for the second half. And that is half-time here in Dakar then, with a scoreline of Ghana 1, Nigeria 1. Nigeria having the impetus of an early goal from a Adepoju. The scoreline here in Dakar, Nigeria 1, Ghana 1. David Pleat is with me, and we're rather excited about the possibilities of this second half, David.
Well, yes, because with Ghana getting that massive lift right on half-time, they can really be expected to go for it now. The more they come forward, I've got a fear that the Nigerians have got just that little bit more pace and power, which could exploit any spaces they leave. And I'm sure neither side would want to really get into an extra time situation. They would like to win it in 90 minutes.
But those are the facets that make the game so fascinating and exciting. The pace of the Nigerians, something we've all been able to see firsthand. Yeah, it's so good that we're able to bring you these matches live on Screen Sport from Senegal, the African country hosting these Nations Cup Championships for the very first time. Straight up in the air, and they do like these acrobatic bicycle kicks, but they can be dangerous.
Well, the referee thinks they can. I mean, he's certainly given that for dangerous kicking, and in a rather nasty situation. What can they conjure from this one?
Absolutely, and having just got themselves back into the game, they are the side whose morale has been more lifted. A half-time break will have been welcomed possibly by Nigeria just to regroup. As Ghana, having scored, probably wanted it to go on a little bit. So there are 3 men around this free kick, as you can see. Yeboah is the man standing back. Pele looks as though he might try with a left foot, and they've got 9 men, I think it is, in that wall. Right, 10th on the end of it.
Quite respectful. The space in the middle. Ooh.
You could just see it curling all over. That's the benefit of having a camera behind the net. You could see that one just going to curl away, and the goalkeeper didn't look over anxious, did he? Thank you. Always going wide, but the right idea. Now then, Keshi, I'm told Mr. Keshi is a big fan of Tottenham Hotspur, David. If you knew that in your time as manager there. Keshi has played most of his football in Belgium, but has been a real stalwart of this Nigerian side in the African Nations Cup.
Does he know there's a share issue at the moment and he can subscribe and have a little investment in the club?
Perhaps he's had a letter from Alan Sugar already. Finances in football very much in the news at the moment, where or another. Nigeria starting from the back. They like to clip the ball as well. Toe underneath the ball and lift it over the top of the man in front. A change made, as you can see there, with Apia going off for Ghana and being replaced by Ankara. The distinctive Pele, and of course it was the Pele who once said that he thought that the African nations will be ruling world football by the year 2000. Nice to see that a player from one side is not only consoling one from the opposition, but calling for him.
I think here's a typical case with both players. It's a clash of heads. Both players are off the field. 10 against 10. Let's get on with the game.
Spirit good. Something they've not always been able to say in African Nations Cup finals. There was an occasion once when Ghana were actually deported from the Sudan after the final. They complained bitterly about the refereeing. The final was against Sudan, the host nation, who happened to win it. Ghana weren't impressed and they rather overreacted in their complaints, and the whole team was deported. The host have been nothing like that. Driving forward for them now. Here's the substitute Ankara. Ball switched to the right touchline for Nilamte. Not seen much of him in this final as yet, and just looking to stretch, and Yeboah there, if he'd have controlled that one, I think he was onside. I think he'd have just made the break at the right time.
Yeah, Ezugbo, the defender, played him onside there once again. One defender staying in could have got them into trouble. We've already seen how Agbula, staying in after the corner, the one man on the line, has helped indirectly secure that goal for Ghana. And the same thing happened in the first half too. Sometimes they get a shout to come out. There you see the tackle again on Pele, not the cleanest.
Never been far from his side. So it's 1-1 still. Ghana having pulled right back at a terrific psychological time in the 44th minute, after Nigeria had held the lead as early as the 12th minute. This is Nigeria coming forward again with Sia. interesting today that although Yekini is the top scorer in the entire tournament with 3 goals, he seems to be hanging further back and allowing Sia to make all the forward runs. Like a game of chess at the moment, and something Michel Platini in the centre of that picture will appreciate. So many of the African nations, of course, have turned to Europe for their coaches, and here we've got 2 sides coached, one by a German and one by a Dutchman. And Nigeria swinging that ball into the penalty area. Oh, and he's almost finding a way through this time.
Magnificent play by Olea on the left. The way he stormed past his man, that's Yekini who had the effort at goal. He stormed past his man and beat him with a right foot dribble, and as it went towards his left, he hit it in unerringly towards the back post. A very fine cross, that. Good play by Olea. I was just going to say how well the right back is playing for Ghana, and that's Abara.
Yeah, it's the team of all the A's, isn't it, David? Ansa, Apia, Abara, Ampia, Asare.
I'll leave the names to you, John. Where's Smith and Jones?
There's Agbula, another one for Nigeria. Too many Smith and Jones in this side. Looking for a little space there, but not finding any. Quite got the rhythm going yet in this second half, but the ball breaking now, and he looked to get the first time shot in. Lamptey, this 17-year-old, well, they talk about him in a £10 million bracket, but that's putting a dreadful tag on a young man's shoulders. Nonetheless, it's a corner for Ghana, which Pele is going to take from outside the quadrant.
Now the 2 men on the line note for the corner.
Absolutely. Looking for the little flick, the back flick. Bodies here, and Ghana in front. Ghana take the lead, and having been a goal down, I think it's Ampia who gets in at the far post. And from Pele's corner, Ghana are in front for the first time in the match. And so the Black Stars have gone in front of Nigeria from Pele's corner, which wasn't properly cleared. They looked for the back kick on the near post. The shot wobbled along and driven over the top of goalkeeper Agu.
Once again from a corner, fine effort. I mean, he really swung quickly and hit that fine volley. And as the 2 defenders came off the line, I think it was number 7 there that reacted quickest to try and get Finidi, to try and get onto the goal-scoring player, but it was too slow. That really put the bit between Ghana's teeth. 2 goals, both from corners. That host of cameramen knew what they were doing.
I thought it was Ampia who got the goal. Manuel Ampia, I thought, was at the far post, but strange to see him up in that position if it was, but he took it like a striker. And that really will have boosted Ghana and lifted them tremendously now. And coach Otto Pfister might just tell them, calm down a little, we're now in front, the game has changed, the whole complexion of the match has changed, we've got to keep our composure. Driven up for Nigeria by Keshi. Now the onus is on Nigeria to come back in attack, and this is what makes it such a very, very good semi-final. Listen, attack they do down that right touchline. Trying to find some space is Finidi. He's been brought into the starting lineup in this match, having been a substitute in 2 previous games. Ball swinging in, the chance here, and the header over the top. They didn't get to him again. And the number of times in defence that they've not been able to contain, I think it was Sia once more.
Yeah, there you see Abora jumping or trying to jump at the back post. They were outnumbered at the back post, there's no question about it. Nigeria looking to cross that ball at every opportunity. Gwamfi at the back post is a rather small defender. I like his movement, I like the way he joins in attacks, but maybe he has a question mark against his ability in the air to defend at set plays and with deep crosses. But Nigeria now look as though they're going to put that ball into the box as much as possible. They definitely seem to have a physical advantage.
Nigeria are trailing by 2 goals to 1 to Ghana at the moment. A very lively semi-final then in Dakar. The crowd are certainly getting their money's worth in this match. Not every game has been played like this, but this is high entertainment. Good work in midfield for Ghana, and there's a real spring in the step now of the Ghanaians. Remember, they've won it 4 times. Once more than Egypt. Ghana very hot at the moment. They lead by 2 goals to 1. João Haviland it was who said a few years ago that he was sure that there would be more triumphs for Ghana on the way after their under-17 team had won that World Youth Cup. Final on Sunday, the winners of this match going through to play the winners of the Cameroon game against Ivory Coast. Nigeria looking to come through the middle. This time they can't. The treatment has been dished out to Yeboah. On the other hand, the Nigerian captain Keshi said, "We will deliver the cup to our president Ibrahim Babangida." So they've both got the incentive. Oh, that's a good ball. Pelly coming onto it, hits the shot in, and it didn't miss by a great deal either. Lamptey. Excellent football match at the moment.
That was a splendid ball in by Pelly. Just occasionally he shows us touches of real inspirational class. There was fine play. Most players would have gone to put that ball deep in the box. He spotted Lamptey on the edge and he drove it across the box and gave him the opportunity of that effort at goal. It was a good attack.
Yet again we have an injury to Sia. He'll want to get up and be a part of it. He wants to carry on in this match. He's one of their best hopes of getting back on level terms. Referee from Tunisia hasn't had too many problems in this game. He's had to book Abora of Ghana and Pele, and he's also booked Babalade from Nigeria. To say the intensity of ambition in this game, it's been played in good spirit. Time for Ghana to defend their goal. Nigeria looking at 2-1 down for this equaliser with half an hour to go. Here's Prince Polly. Man whose goal just before half-time really set this match alight. And crack on the back of the head this time for Gyamfi. Well, there have been so many physical challenges, and first of all they had the boot up a little bit high. And then he caught him with the elbow in the back of the neck. That was Oliga. Tambora actually got back on the head. Not Gyamfi. Oh, that was rather slow. The Nigerian able to get back to win the ball. And now they come attacking down the left-hand side with speed.
There was a good advantage paid by the referee there. There was a foul against the Nigerians, but the ball ran to the Nigerians, and clever refereeing, he withheld his whistle just for a second, saw who had possession and thought, right, I'm not going to impede the Nigerians. They've been fouled against, but I'm going to give them the support.
Ghana under pressure again here, and once more the shot is disappointing this time. Sort of clipped it with the outside of his boot, and that was a disappointing finish that time for Nigeria from Ezeugwu. Time to warm up. You never know, you might just get on, even if it's for 5 minutes. They've got to be in the right condition.
And of course, if the manager's looking, contemplating changes, and he keeps having a little glance to his right where his substitutes are warming up, then maybe the one he's got in mind, if he's doing a good warm-up, it might just ring that bell and get him on that little bit quicker.
Absolutely. Well, this is played down the right side by Finidi. Finidi, who plays for Castellón, as you heard from Phil Meissen at half-time, plays in Spain. But a good long throw in here. It's Nigeria definitely trying to get back into this match at 2-1 down. A heap of bodies around at the moment on that far side, but play will continue. The ball will not be put out of play just yet. They might now. And he's bowled over by Finidi. And free kick will enable some treatment to be administered. Again, we'll see how Pelly is willing to work back and get involved. That's Asare, who is the injured man. Ghana then leading by 2-1. Physiotherapist saying you better come off the pitch, so spray the back of the leg. And he won't be able to come back on until the referee tells him he can do. So just for the moment they are down to the 10 men. It's been a very good second half for Ghana then, but Nigeria are so strong they're still in this game. They don't seem to quite make the penetrating runs that they did in the first half. They haven't been able to use their dash somewhere between halfway line and the penalty area like they did. It looks as though he's got the cares of the world on his shoulders instead of his side being 2-1 in front in a semi-final. Looking for the ball through the middle, which might well have released Yeboah. He stumbled as it happened. And away goes the Nigerian Ezeugwu. Nice ball as well. This is lovely movement. Excellent work off the ball as well here for Nigeria, who've already got 4 men inside the penalty area. And we've seen both goalkeepers today not been at their best. So they've got to try and get shots in on goal. Just be a little bit rattled, both goalkeepers, by the events of the afternoon so far. Won't be rattled by that. But a free kick has been awarded for the foul committed on Sia. Important phase of the game, this.
They're tending to mark Sia just slightly too tight. I think of the majority of fouls that have been committed against Nigeria, most have been committed against him. He's a danger up front, he's got man-for-man marking, and they're really very, very tight.
Here's the free kick. She's long, and maybe too long. Yes, I thought it was just going to drift over the dead ball line. They don't seem to have that little bit of inspiration at the moment that they had in the first half, Nigeria. When they were leading 1-0, they looked very good indeed, and could well have gone 2 in front.
Yeah, they were looking there to run onto Agbula's free kick, but it was his left foot and he drifted it just beyond the forwards. They want the ball into the space to attack. They want to attack that space, put the ball into the space. But Ruben there was aiming for his forwards, and it gives them no chance to get a run at the ball.
Ruben Agbula, who plays his football these days at Swansea, but was once with Southampton and then Sunderland. Little knock on, and Nigeria retaining possession out with Finidi. Important they get men forward, so Keshi supplements the attack now. Threading it through, edge of the area. Oh, was he tripped? That looked like a trip inside the penalty area, and the referee will not be the most popular man in Nigeria at the moment for not giving that. And the tackles are flying in thick and fast, and I must say, that, David, looked a bit like a penalty to me.
Well, it's got to look more than a bit like. It's got to look a penalty, and there's got to be no justifiable doubt. And for me, John, I'd like to see that one again. But I think it was 6 of one, half a dozen the other. He tried to surge past, obstruction at most. Here we have it. You can't. The ball is obscured a little bit, so it's a little bit difficult there as he takes the ball. Now, if you can tell me that there was something deliberate that happened then.
Now on replay, you're probably right. Sort of incident, mind you, that you think at first sight, Joe, that's a penalty, and then when you see it again, that's the benefit of television these days. The referees probably won't.
Well, that's why so few are good enough, or even dare to attempt to become a referee. And they would say commentators should stick to commentating.
Well, they'd be right as well. A change then. Finidi comes off, and Friday Ekpo is the replacement. Here's one to chase, got to be sure. He is. She doesn't miss much. Ekpo, the player who's come on, plays for the Shell Club in Gabon. But it's Nigeria taking the ball up to that byline. Again, they've got plenty of people inside the penalty area. Not a bad cross, or just flicked off the top of Bafo's head, offside. Nigeria are certainly carrying the fight to Ghana at the moment.
Yes, quite clearly, getting it down the lines, trying to get the ball in at every opportunity. There you see Ghana just squeezing out the shade and just getting the benefit of that offside decision.
It's when the ball is played matters. So Bafo will take Ghana's free kick. They lead by 2-1. So Nigeria, without question, have had quite a good little spell there. It's a dangerous one to control. Oh, lovely work by Yeboah. Still Yeboah. He could seal it, and they just got enough bodies around him there. But he turned beautifully inside the penalty area, and just a fraction of a second longer for him, he might well have scored.
Yeah, did splendidly. A double dummy. Went to kick it with his right foot. Defender fell for it, came on his inside, then went to hit it with his left, fell for it, came on his inside. Here we see it. Oh, nicked it round him, then he goes to shoot and drags it across. Lovely bit of skill, and then he's just a little bit loose, but it's a splendid recovery tackle there that enabled him, if you like, to miss what could have been a very fine attempt, individual attempt.
Yes, it was Agbula's tackle, and here come Nigeria again. This game far from over. What a good game of football it is. Lovely ball inside the penalty area. Very good chance here. He might just have run it out. And that was very good approach play indeed. But then Adepoju, the man who scored the opening goal in this semi-final, just unable to round it off. And that brings a look of concern from Clemens Westerhoef, the Nigerian coach. I think he thought they were in for an equaliser there. Good play all along the line. Very attractive game of football, this one. Nigeria continue to build their attacks down that right-hand side with Azugo. Bringing the ball down, edge of the area. They've enough bodies around here. Again inside the box and blazing wide on his left foot. The shot from Yakini, the top goal scorer in this African Nations Cup tournament. He's got 3. Now they need a 4th from him now.
Well, they're certainly pressing. I think the angle was too wide, really, to try a shot. I don't really believe that Yakini was aware of the goal.
Two-1 it is to Ghana. Midway through this second half. referee just coming over to have words on the touchline. Somebody probably spoke out of turn. Not a bad header forward. So Devoa can't find a colleague this time. So it's the Black Stars out in front. Leading by 2-1 here against Nigeria. The Super Eagles, but the Super Eagles coming very much back into this match. Again, plenty of painful bodies are in there. He would surely have been offside, I would have thought, in that position. But nonetheless, again, they're breaching the defences of Ghana for the moment, and it's odds on that they'll get one of these right before long.
Well, there they've more or less run offside rather than the Ghanaians seeking to make them offside. But that ball is continually being flighted into the box, and of course it's in Ghana's interest now to clear the box as quickly as possible, so they're not fighting for balls on the edge of the 6-yard box, which will not make the goalkeeper too happy. They need to clear the 6-yard box.
Throw in by Agbula. And got to say this about Ghana, they're not trying to sit on that 2-1 lead.
No, with the power factor that we spoke about earlier in the game, John, I think that's coming into its own now. I still feel the Nigeria are the stronger side, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're able to force an equaliser here.
Well, it's such a good match, I don't think either of us would mind extra time too much in this game.
No, I think Nigeria have just territorially held sway most of the game. They've looked the strongest side in the opponent's half. They look the side most likely to force a goal. But of course, 2 vital strikes that give the lead to Ghana have both come from corners and undeserved goals.
And it's their turn to break. Oh, a scything tackle again. We do occasionally see them losing their heads. Very rash there. And that's certainly worth looking on second sight. In the first half, the Tunisian referee did take the names of Abara and Pele of Ghana and of the Nigerian Babaladi. So Ghana's free kick, and they lead by 2-1. If they got the third, it might crush the resistance. And, they've made advancements. That's a good advantage played by the referee. Saw that Pele had got away from his marker. Now they're playing cat and mouse. And is he brought down this time? No, says the referee. And shucks, says Pele.
Saw a glimpse of the flag there, John. Quite a fierce crosswind.
Yes. Quite fierce pace up front now being shown by Nigeria. Time he rather overdid it. Prince Polly it was who was trying to get through. He was the man who brought his side level just before half-time. Might even have been the one who gave them the lead. There was some confusion as to who had scored on that far post. But the important thing with quarter of an hour to go in Dakar is that Ghana lead Nigeria by 2-1, and if it stays that way, they will be through to Sunday's final. Bafo having to twist and turn inside his own penalty area. Effects a reasonable clearance, but back come Nigeria again. Offside flag. Shown against Eliha. I'm sure you can pick up the beat of the drums in the background. And the Dutch coach of the Nigerian side wants to pick up the beat of the goal.
I think he's going to have to send another defender forward and leave himself short at the back. He's got 15 minutes now to get an equaliser and a winner. And I think he can afford to. I don't think that Ghana are attacking in numbers to cause a massive threat. I think that he can gamble, go for another big one up the front in the air, and get it into the box as quickly as possible and try and create damage that way.
Forward it goes, hoisted over the top. Trouble here, Yeboah can't turn on it to get any sting in the shot, however. That was half chance. The onus is still on Nigeria. They trail by 2-1 with less than quarter of an hour to go. If the second semi-final this evening between Cameroon and Ivory Coast is as good as this, the crowd will have had a marvellous day's entertainment. Ghana looking themselves to come on the break, and they probably realise they can afford to just sit back a little bit, and their best chance of clinching this match might be to hit on the break. And the first yellow card of this second half is going to be shown here. I think it's going to be to the number 18 of Nigeria, Babalade. And in fact it's a red, yes, because he got the yellow in the first half, and Babalade takes off his jersey. And that's going to make it even more fascinating now, because Nigeria have been reduced to 10 men. Well, Babalade couldn't complain about his booking in the first half, certainly. And this one sees the end of the match for him, and indeed the end of the African Nations Cup for him. That would mean he would be out of the final should Nigeria make it.
I might be a little bit of a softie, but I think Babalade is a little bit unfortunate there. It was a clumsy challenge. One could say, to be critical of myself, you can't afford to make a clumsy tackle if you've already been yellow carded, and that will be a massive handicap, because if Ghana can now just use that man to maximum advantage, use the width of the field well, and just pass the ball and take the sting out the game, then that could be the catalyst that sees them go through to the final.
It wasn't as bad as his first tackle by any means.
There have been lots of fierce challenges in the game, and I think it's always sad to see a player dismissed, particularly in a tournament which has such great worldwide appeal. It gives the game an image that it doesn't necessarily need or deserve.
Right, so here come Ghana then, looking for a third goal, which might be good enough to clinch their place in the final. But they'll have to defend now. Nigeria attacking down this left-hand side with Olaitan, as he's done so often in this match, and he plays not a bad ball across there. The covering defender got to it, but Keshi has pressed forward inside the penalty area. Good turn, they might even be looking for the penalty. Did that come off the crossbar? It looked as though it might have done. It was a good turn inside the penalty area by Yakini. Let's have a look now. Round the outside of the defender he goes, whips it across. Oh, and it's off the underside of the crossbar, and that is so unlucky for Nigeria. And the 10 men were almost back on level terms.
I have to say, John, had he fallen before he whipped in his shot, stumbling to get some kind of angle to whip the ball in, he just might, in the present climate here, have got himself a spot kick.
Asare injured. Yes, he might indeed. It's something they say shouldn't happen, but indeed.
He's almost wrestled to the ground. He refuses to fall. He tries to stay on his feet as long as possible. He does so well that he manages to force that ball back across the face of the goal onto the bar with his right foot. A magnificent effort. One could say that when that tackle, that challenge, almost that wrestle first took place, if he would have gone quickly then to the floor, they might have benefited with a penalty.
It's absolutely right. It was Sia. Still a chance here, and the ball in the net, but that's not going to count. The whistle has already sounded. So high drama, excitement, everything happening here in the semi-final in Dakar, but the whistle had already been blown by Monsieur Jouini, the referee from Tunisia. So the fact that the ball ended up in the net didn't count, and Alaya disappointed me.
I'll have to see that once or twice again, John, to be convinced that there was an incident there. If it was something off the ball, then okay, it's possible I missed it. But that didn't look too bad to me.
It's one of those sort of goal-mouth scuffles where you think there must be something wrong, and then when you look at it, there isn't. Ball driven rather aimlessly through this time to the Ghanaian goalkeeper, Edward Ansah. Now plays for Ashanti Kotoko, the top club side in Ghana. And indeed Nigeria look as though they're going to bring on a second substitute in Friday Ilaho. Ghana once more. Oh, it's not a bad effort, and he's struggling there. Oh, he just about clung on, did Agu, from Pele's shot, and he might well have rounded it all off then, Pele, with his third of the tournament. As As it is, the ball is still won in midfield by Ghana. Not a good clearance. It was an instinctive shot, and the goalkeeper going down, making the save, but they could have followed in and put the ball in the net and punished him.
Yes, it was fortunate he just recovered in time, but that could easily have been curtains. Here we see it again. It's a nasty shot because it bounces just in front of him, and as he stumbles onto it, well, he did quite well to pick it up the second time.
Yes, he did. So, Aliha was replaced by Alaho. Ghana with one substitute coming on and scoring for them. How Nigeria could do with their substitute getting a goal for them. Just able to keep the ball in play.
I think Westerhoef now is more or less set there. You saw the signal.
Oh, it's a good ball, and he's gone down this time inside the penalty area, and again you can tell from the expression on his face that the penalty has not been awarded. So referee Jouini is really being tested in these closing stages.
He might have opted out there. He was looking to the linesman for guidance. I think it was handball as he took the ball in the first place. Ghana appealed for that. I don't know what part the linesman played in it all, but he decided to play on.
And you're right, it was a handball. You can see it on the replay.
And Westerhoef, the trainer, the manager, quite clearly has said to his players, two at the back, lads, let's push right on now. And I think we saw a shot of that big minder, the FIFA minder, saying, sit down, coaching from the bench only, you're not allowed to walk within 10 yards of the pitch. What a stupid rule.
I've never understood that rule at all. I've never understood why anybody who coaches a team for the whole week suddenly has to keep his mouth shut on a Saturday afternoon. I don't see what difference it makes anyway.
I think the ruling is you can shout, but you're not allowed to leave your bench. And even some English managers now who stand up. I think Kenny Dalglish, the famous manager of Blackburn, who was manager of Liverpool, I think he was one of those that began the trend. And now it's strange to see many managers just standing still. I think I'm going to start walking up and down the touchline, try and blow the ball in the net.
You resort to anything, David. Here we go. Yeboah through the middle, and he's got a man wide on his left. Yeboah might try and do it all himself and go for the glory. He did, and it didn't come off for him. Blast the shot wide. Mailate, the final effort, disappointing.
Yeah, there you see it, the two defenders at the back, as we said before. Agbula desperately trying to get back in there, no chance. It took a bobble just as he hit the strike, and it veered over the bar rather wickedly for him. But that could have been the end of the game. He's gambled now, Westerhoef, not easy. There's his gestures on the line. Two men at the back. He could easily lose it 3-1, but so what? He's losing it 2-1. Caution to the wind.
That's got to be the pattern of the remainder of the match now. Ghana happy to hit on the break. Nigeria desperate to push men forward in the search for the equaliser. They trail by 2-1 though. And it's Nigeria's free kick. Just clipped in beyond the penalty spot. Keshi was in for it. Ghana have again got enough bodies in the way, but the ricochet favours Nigeria, and they might come away from this as well for the cross ball. And it's desperate defending for Ghana at the moment. They're almost queuing up, they're trying to tee one another up, and once again the break is on. He's got the guard against offside, and he went off.
Well, they went off a yard over the halfway line, didn't they? You can't be offside, of course, in your own half in association football. And there was two forwards desperately trying to stay onside. Here's a break by Nigeria.
Oh, terrific stuff. What a great finish it is, and the keeper just gets a fingertip to it, and then the ball is hoofed out of play. Nigeria really are giving it everything now. And Edward Ansah there just about had the answer. Tipped the ball away. Great pressure, full stretch, and he just does enough. Keshi is staying up front now, he's got to do. He doesn't want to be on a losing side again, having played in 3 losing finals. He's, at the moment, going to be on a losing side in a semi, unless this one goes in. The shot there was from Ezugo. Corner kick. Great pressure now, and it's the Ghanaian hearts that are fluttering.
Yeah, we've had 2 goals from corners in this game. But Nigeria snatched one.
As I was saying, nobody would mind extra time in a match as good as this one. The ball is hoisted into the penalty area yet again. Those tall figures go for it. Bafo decides to knock it out. The whistle has sounded, and it will be a free kick for Ghana. Under enormous pressure. They want to slow it down now. Bafo there had turned and flicked his header away, but there was a whistle.
Yes, it was an offside decision, and one has to say the linesman's right on the ball. We cannot criticise the officials in this tournament. The officials have done quite well.
Yes, they have. They've got to get on with it now. Urgency, prime factor. So straight upfield it goes from goalkeeper Agu. He's found his own man as well. That's good running from Yakini. Now the shot. Oh, a cracking effort as well. Ansah's there. He's an unusual goalkeeper, this fella. Calm as you like, he cleared it, but it was a good shot again on the mark. Thoroughly enjoyable semi-final, this one, and again Nigeria come down that right-hand side, concentrating their attack there. The cross not good enough. They've enjoyed it as much as we have. Shame for anybody to lose it. It's one of those matches.
Well, semi-finals are always heartbreaking affairs, John. Certainly was no one cooler there than Ansah.
Bako's kick is good. Finds Pele down the left touchline. Ghana will come looking here. Oh, was trying to find Yeboah. So they've got the ball funneled back and do some more defending. Nigeria thump the ball desperately into the Ghana half. Now he tries to use his pace. Oh, he might just have got the ricochet again. That was so unlucky for Yakini. He's had a good second half.
He's got real power. I mean, some of the surging, some of the bursting, the acceleration is really something to behold at times. They've got real power from a standing start, and it's very, very difficult at times for defenders to cope with that.
Yes, both Yakini and Sia have been unfortunate today that they've just not had the bounce of the ball. 3 minutes left. 2-1. Ghana lead Nigeria in the African Nations Cup semi-final. And you can gather that those are Ghanaian supporters. They want that final whistle, but there are 3 minutes to go. That's including the stoppage time by the look of it. Ghana's turn, and again he goes through the middle on his own and just bobbles away from him. The goalkeeper Agu has to come and claim it. Was Lamptey that time. He's shown his paces a little bit in this second half. He's had a couple of penetrating runs, but that's happened because they've opened the way for him. They're simply throwing men forward as they do again now.
And of course we mustn't lose sight of the fact they're down to 10 men.
Absolutely.
They're not only short at the back because of the tactics, trying to desperately pull a goal back, but of course they're also a man short, and that's a really difficult to surmount.
Well, I must say, as a selfish neutral, I wouldn't mind seeing Nigeria score a late one here to make it 2-2. We could have another half an hour. It's been so enjoyable. Not everybody will share that view. And, the whistle has gone once more, and rather disconsolate looking now. 1 or 2 Nigerian heads just perhaps beginning to drop.
I thought they were going to beginning to roll, but I don't think they'll roll after this performance. I think that they've played with a lot of courage. They've taken the game to Ghana throughout the game. Actually, Ghana have benefited from 2 flashes of inspiration from corner kicks. If you look at ability, there's nothing to choose between either side. Ghana have 1 or 2 very good individual players. Nigeria are very strong.
You Again, that final ball just wasn't good enough, which allows Nigeria perhaps one last thrust. Here is their substitute, Laho, around his circles and continuing his run. And critically, the ball won for Ghana and put out of play. I'm sure he'd like to have kicked it right out of the stadium. We've moved into a minute and a half worth of time added on now by the Tunisian referee. It's Ghana who go through to the final. So the country that has won the African Nations Cup more than any other, Ghana, will contest the 1992 final in Senegal. Nigeria, you have to feel a lot of sympathy.